Are we sideways?
You are. Turn your phone.
There we go.
All
Just
right,
like I
all
thought.
right, all right. All right. What's up?
I'm so excited to see you guys. You have no idea.
So good to see you too. It's been too long.
It's been way too long. Okay, I just have to start. First, I just have to.
We go back.
We go back.
Y'all go back further.
We go back to what? Shock Bar.
Shock Bar and Isaac Hayes. And the radio, New York radio. What a wonderful man.
I mean, yes, so many wonderful years and times, and I'm so excited. You know, it's funny, David, I was reading both of your bios, and I said, as long as I've known you, you know, when you know someone, you don't really pay attention like that. You almost take them for granted. It's terrible. I hate to say it, but you don't really pay attention like that. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, dang, this brother is the real deal. This sister is the real deal. Like, for real.
Well, and you and your husband, I mean, it's a dynamic duo. You know, we do what we do. We support each other. We have each other's back, and we keep building empires together. So, you know, we just doing what we do.
Thank you, Nicole.
I mean, you guys are amazing, and I know we're gonna get into a bunch of things, but I do have to tell you because I was so excited. I'm so excited. On Saturday night after we watched the film, I called you. This film, and it was 10 o'clock, and I was like, I don't care. Jeff was like, don't call me. I was like, I gotta tell him how I'm feeling right now. But we watched it as a family, Jingle Jangle, for those who are just joining us, Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey. And I have to tell you guys that it just warmed my heart. Like, I was so excited. It brought me to tears. I mean, there are so many films that we don't see like this one. It's extraordinary. And I'm not just saying that because I love you guys. I'm saying that because I truly felt that. And my family did too. And my kids, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, that was so good. And they wanted to do their own things. And I said, no, you're going to sit down. We're going to watch this film together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just amazing. So I just want to say that I'm so proud of you guys. Congratulations. I hope it just soars. I really do.
Thank you.
It's been one of those kind of rare moments, you know, for us. We've been doing it a long time, but this one, it struck a chord, a real chord and a deep chord. And our intention was to celebrate what's beautiful, what's vibrant, what's buoyant, what's brilliant about us, and share it with the world and invite the world to celebrate it too. And it seems like that's what we've been able to accomplish.
Yeah.
I think so. Now, David, you know, you started with, when I met you, with doing stage plays, you know, all around the country.
Coming to the Beacon Theater, David E. Talbert presents Mr. Right Now. He say, she say, but what does God say? His woman, his wife, the fabric of a man, love in the nick of time. I mean, we were doing it.
Doing it. I mean, seriously doing it. And so when I watched this film, Jingle Jangle, I saw it clearly. You wrote it, directed, and produced it, but I saw, this sounds funny, but I saw all of your work in it. You know what I mean? From the stage plays. And I even said to Jeff, I said, you know, I wonder if, was this ever a consideration to have it go to Broadway, or was it always the thought to have it go to the theater?
No, it was conceived for the stage. I started writing it right after Lyn and I got married, and right before in '97. Started writing it for the stage, and we just been kind of developing it and trying to figure out how we could get it to work. And then you know, we welcomed our son Elias, and that changed everything. Yeah. You know, and then Lyn, a few years ago, Lyn said, well, why not do it as a film? And that kind of got it rolling this way.
Then it's like your imagination is beyond, you know, in the film, we're not in that 1%, but we still plan on bringing it to the stage, you know, across the world. That's our goal, because we see this as a perennial holiday stage piece as well as movie.
I'm so excited to hear that, because I wondered that, you know, just to talk about Hamilton for a moment. I mean, obviously that started on the stage, and then it too went to film, and I totally saw that with with this project. And I thought, you know, I don't know that people do it the opposite way, but I guess you can do whatever you want, really, because it will play so well. Yes. And it's just, it's jubilant. And I just, you know, I know I'm really excited about this. And I told Jeff, I was like, when I talk to them, I'm going to be so excited. It's going to be hard for me to contain myself and get anything out, honestly, because it's just one of those films that does that to you. So I encourage everyone to please, if you have not seen Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey, tune into Netflix. You got to check this out. It truly is a magical, magical film. I do want to ask, you know, you said you wrote this or started writing it before before you got married, and then Elias, many years later, came along, and you guys said you weren't going to have any children. So
I never said that.
Well, I said that.
Oh, I never said that.
15 years into it, she said, you know, I want to have a child this year. And I said, well, with who? And then, of course, I got punched, and so I had to figure this thing out.
He's so full of it.
Got my Maxwell CDs, and boom, 9 months later, that's my baby boy.
No, the truth is that we were working so hard, being on the road year after year. You look up, and time has flown. And we looked up, it was 15 years later. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm like, you know, those eggs, that clock, you know? So I'm like, oh my gosh, if we're going to do this, we got to do this. And that's when he tried to say, well, huh? So, you know, best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah, I mean, kids are wonderful. But so do you think that this story took a turn at all? Or did Elias have any impact on the finishing of the story, on the storyline is what I'm asking?
He was everything. Yeah. You know, I love the movies Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory, and original Dr. Dolittle, Mary Poppins. Those are the movies that I watched growing up, and I loved those. And then when he was 4, I said I'm gonna sit down and watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with him, and I'm saying hi ho Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I'm the biggest, blackest, whitest man ever. I'm just saying, hi, here, Chitty, there, where you go, Chitty, there. And my son, I turned to him, and he stared at me like, who is this dude, right? So I said, you don't like the movie, son? And he was like, eh. And he said, can I play with my Legos? And I said, boy, get away from me. You ain't gonna mess up my childhood. And as he walked away, I looked at him, and I looked at that screen, and I said, oh. On his wall, he has Miles Morales and Black Panther and Barack Obama. These are the images that he has. And it occurred to me that, you know, my childhood, we didn't have an option growing up. I mean, there was no inclusion and diversity. You got what you got, and that was what it was. And you enjoyed it as a film. But he has options. And so, you know, it was right then when I said, it is time to really pull this back out. Figure it out, because I want my son to see people that look like him in areas of wonder. And when I showed him the design for the Buddy 3000, the robot, he said, "Oh, I love it." I said, "What do you think, little buddy?" He says, "I love it, Daddy." He said, "What can he do?" And he was 4, and I said, "Well, he can walk and he can talk." And he said, "Can he fly?" And I hadn't thought about it. And I looked at him, I said, yeah, he can fly. And he lit up. And then he looked at me and said, Daddy, can I fly? And that stopped me in my tracks. And so I looked at him and I said, yeah, buddy. I said, Elias, you can fly too. His eyes lit up, big smile. And that's how that's when I came with the idea to make that the rope. I don't want to spoil it, but that's when I came up with, you know, the idea. But yeah, he, you know, looking through the eyes of a child and seeing the innocence and the wonder, and that there's the limitless imagination that inspired me to now revisit and find it in myself again, you know, with this film, and that's how we were able to put it together. Wow,
that's amazing. I mean, that's what kids do to you, and I love the cameo. I don't want to go either. But I did love to see you and Elias.
Yes.
Lyn, I did. I want to talk about the costuming and the choreography, because that was top notch. I know, and I know that you, Lyn, have received an NAACP Image Awards for costume design on another project. that you did. So tell me about that process.
Well, for this project in general, we wanted to make this classic world, but that infused unique original elements that were very much us. African fabrics, Moroccan fabrics, fabrics from places that have people of color. And I kind of coined this phrase Afro-Victorian, because I didn't want it to be that, you know, usual Dickensian look where we're just in those costumes and those wigs and it doesn't feel as of us. So the hairstyles, we all natural hair. Our amazing costume designer, Michael Wilkinson, very collaborative and, you know, Oscar nominee in his own right, but he's very open to infusing these fabrics and these cultures within the costume. And so wanted the costume to be a character just as much as the characters. And so, yes, it was just very important to me to create something that was layered in culture as well as fitting the period. And we just had a great time collaborating together on that. And same with hair with Sharon Martin, you know, creating those amazing styles that I would want to wear. And kind of like my go-to was a faux hawk when I wanted to just kind of be edgy. So I wanted to create that period mohawk with Journey with her puffs.
Every 5 seconds she was like, look at this, I went online, how about this stuff? How about this? How about this? I'm like, I'm trying to, you know.
Like, just let me do it.
And she was like a kid again in a candy store with this. And she just wanted to show natural hairstyles in all of their glory. And it was like, and coming from going to school in Baltimore, you know, from DC, the hair shows in Baltimore and DC, along with Atlanta, are of legend. I mean, they give you hair.
Hair.
So, you know, so Lyn wanted to really celebrate that in the film.
Yeah,
and that's really what it is. It's the aesthetics are always a big thing that I try to make sure are there. And David and I both, you know, we like to pay attention to the details of things. So I have, you know, all these mood boards of things that inspire me. And my favorite films growing up were Mary Poppins and Annie. So my favorite musicals. So wanting something that showed us where I could tap into the kid in me again as well, because I saw myself in Journey and many of the other characters.
Yeah, aesthetics has always been her thing, Nicole. You know, when we met, I was wearing mustard colored suits and olive green colored suits and pinstripes. I was a cat daddy. Let me tell you something.
Like he was 50 years old.
All my friends were from Detroit. I had about 20 pairs of big block crocodiles and matching everything. And I just thought I was that dude. And she immediately went in the closet when we started dating. She said, "Whose clothes are these?" And I said, "These are my clothes." She said, "You dress like that?" And I said, "Yeah, that's how a man dresses." She said, "You dress like my father." She said, and she took me down. I was living in Vegas. She took me down to Caesar's Palace. And I remember she took me to the guest shop, to the forum, and she said, "Wear this." She picked up all the stuff, and it just changed everything for me. So aesthetics is who she is, and this was her brainchild, along with the great Michael Wilkinson and the great Sharon Martin that collaborated.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was spectacular. I totally see your taste infused throughout the film. I mean, you've always had great taste, and your hairstyles have always been pretty phenomenal. So it's funny because I looked at Journey and I said to Jeff, I used to wear my hair like that.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Exactly. We wanted all of you to see yourself.
Yeah.
And that's really what's been the consensus I'm getting back. Everyone's been hit. Lyn, thank you for, I saw me.
Absolutely.
You know, I exist. Thank you for showing me. And so it's just been really touching to feel from other people what we wanted to feel. We wanted to see ourselves, and so grateful that you guys see yourselves.
Yeah. And the aesthetic, I mean, you're talking about the 1800s. The aesthetic that we only see is a whip against our back. You know, we see the hardship, we see the trauma, and we see, we don't celebrate, we don't see, but that was the experience here in America in places. But around the world, we were kings and queens still, innovators, educators, scientists, alchemists, and inventors. All of that was happening around the world. but we don't see that image ourselves. So I wanted my son, I talked to him about slavery, I talked to him about his ancestors and the hardship, but I also celebrate the greatness of us globally as well. And we need images that celebrate, that show us as inventors. And Veronica's Jangle is the greatest inventor of all in all the land. And we need to see those images too.
Yeah.
I need you to read me a bedtime story, Dave.
Right.
Right.
Especially now.
Especially now.
We need it now.
Especially now. And I mean, there's so many things, honestly, I loved about the film. I do want to talk about, because, well, first of all, before that, clearly, I'm just going to say this because I think it's kind of funny, but clearly Lyn had to change the fabric of her man when she met you because your wardrobe was kind of whack.
Absolutely. Well, you know, she had to, it was like the Soul Train scramble board. You know, she had to take, you know, move it around. But I
was like, why is he following me? This is one of my dad's friends over here following me. Daddy, you better get your friends. Okay.
I got it, Nicole, though. She can talk about me all she wants. She married me, though, didn't she?
I know that's right.
Okay, you see what I'm saying?
I did.
Okay, so now listen. I think you know this because I have to say, I feel like there was a nod to my son in the film, since the professor's most talented assistant's name was Edison. Which is my son's name.
There you go. There you go. And you know, I'll say on top of that too, I brought the beauty of your son's name, and then when he's introduced himself, he introduced himself as Edison. His last name is Latimer, in honor of Lewis Latimer, who was the brains behind the brains behind the filament and the making of the light bulb. So we made sure that in every area that we gave honor to yes, those who got the credit in history, but those who are uncredited as well. And in all of the buildings in the town square, innovators and scientists and people that were the first, all of the buildings in the whole film are named after the first in their field. So we just wanted to, we don't get a lot of the credit all the time, and we don't, you know, sometimes things are, is that ours breaking up, Nicole?
They're frozen.
Hopefully that's
no,
not
they're
ours.
frozen or I'm frozen. I hope you guys are listening to this
well, I'll finish
interview
until
about,
Nicole gets back.
this interview about this incredible
must be
film.
eating up her Wi-Fi.
Thank you,
The Christmas Journey.
But
and they're frozen, so I might lose them. And if I do, then
those people
we'll have them dial back
who've come
in.
before us,
I
and
don't
that
know
was
if they
what we were
can
able to do.
hear me or
so
not.
until Nicole gets back,
if you guys can hear me, let
we'll
me
talk.
say hi in the comments.
Detail. Thank
and
you.
tell me if Lyn and David are frozen.
Thank you so much.
Or if I'm frozen, because I can't tell.
Yes, look at the building, and also look at the building right next to Jangles and
what's
Things.
good
It's
for
called
you? Is it
Sisson-Talbert,
am I frozen?
named after my father, who was the first Black optometrist ever
They're
licensed in the state of Nevada.
We can see all of you now. Okay, but am I frozen?
One of the other buildings there's A.M. Woods, and that's my great grandmother, Pastor Annie Mae Woods, is one of the founding pastors
so they must be
of the
talking,
PAW
which means
movement
I'm
in
missing the
Washington,
entire
D.C.
interview.
Tharp's and Music Co. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, considered the godmother of rock and roll. There's North Star,
you are frozen.
which is, of course, a newspaper that Frederick Douglass
so if they can hear me,
was on,
go back out,
which talked about, of course, all the movement and the Underground Railroad and all those things too.
Okay, so they can hear both of us, but we can't see Nicole or hear Nicole.
Right, I'm gonna.
So they're saying we can hear you both, you just can't hear.
So should we go off?
Maybe we should log back in.
No, we can't hear each other. I can't hear them.
Because you're frozen on our side, but we can see
we're gonna start this over.
They can hear them.
So we'll log out, Nicole, and then you give us a.
Okay, so I removed them. Please just disconnect and reconnect. Yes, I removed them, and then they should dial back in. So David and Lyn, please. There you go. All right, I think that's you. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Technology, this is what happens. Thanks for rolling with us, guys. Appreciate you.
We're back.
Okay. Hi, we thought you were frozen and we're trying to talk to you. Come back on. And then you thought we were frozen. So So they're like, we hear you
We're all
both.
talking to
I'm
you.
like, did you hear both of us or both of us?
Both of us or both of us? I was confused. So I don't know if they were answering you or they were answering me. I'm like,
Right.
okay, we're gonna start over because
Yes.
this is technology and this is what happens. So
We're in the world. We're in the
right.
world.
I'm not sure the last thing you said. I know you were talking about Latimer, Edison, Edison and Latimer.
Yes.
That's
well,
the last thing I
saying
heard.
that all of the buildings are named after
First.
Black inventors, innovators, or the first in their field, or people that didn't get a lot of credit, or in many cases got no credit. When Edison introduces himself, he says, "My name is Edison Latimer."
Yeah.
And that's a shout out to Lewis Latimer, who's considered the brains behind the filament and the light bulb. And their sister Rosetta Tharpe, there's Tharpe's Music Company. Sister Rosetta Tharpe is considered the godmother of rock and roll. One of the buildings is Sisson Arms.
Named after my father, who was the first Black optometrist to be licensed in the state of Nevada. So, one's named after his great-grandmother.
A.M. Woods is on one of the buildings. My great-grandmother, Pastor Annie Mae Woods, one of the founding pastors of the Pentecostal PAW movement in Washington, D.C. So there's North Star and there's Carver, George Washington Carver, and all these kinds of things that we're paying honor to. And we felt like when we were on a set, like the ancestors were.
Yeah.
Smiling down on us and pushing us forward.
A lot of Easter eggs in the film, a lot of things like that people will see as they watch it again and again. Felicia Rashad's hair was inspired by Toni Morrison and Lena Horne, and kind of merged those two people together. And little did I know, actually, the day that we shot Felicia, Toni Morrison had passed. And I had to tell her. And so her and I were like, together, saying how, wow, this is such a great way to honor her. And we weren't even thinking, because she said to me when I talked to her about doing this hairstyle, she goes, oh my gosh, Lyn, I'm gonna call Toni and I'm gonna tell her what we're doing, and so excited. So things like that, we were able to honor people. We were able to name the bank in the storybook sequence after John Lewis, not the bank, the law office, after John Lewis, after he passed. So a lot of things there for history that children and families will be able to look back on and get some background to.
So special, so special. Did you have a vision for the cast? I mean, how'd you end up casting Forrest Whitaker, Felicia Rashad, Anita Noki Rose? I mean, how'd that come about?
Well, Lyn came in before we even started casting with Miss Rashad's headshot and said, she's playing the grandmother. And I said, Lyn, we haven't even started casting. I don't care what you talking about. She gonna play the grandmother. So Felicia Rashad's picture was up on the wall first before we even started casting anybody. And then Forrest was Jeronica's Jangle is the lead in the film, leading man. And I had known Forrest for almost 20 years, and we kind of flirted with doing projects here and there, but never anything landed. And I knew when it was time to do this that I needed someone that would ground the character so that it wouldn't become a caricature. I knew the weight, I knew the stakes with this film. The stakes with this film were, you have iconic characters. You have Willy Wonka, you have Mary Poppins, you have Ebenezer Scrooge, you have these iconic characters. But I wanted to have a black man be on that Mount Rushmore. Yeah. And I needed him to someone that was at the top of his game, that as far as an acting craft would make sure to give layers and nuance and colors and gravitas to it. And I sat down with him. I flew into New York and I sat down with him and we had dinner and he started telling me about the character. He had read the script. He started telling me stuff I didn't even write. I'm looking at my script like, does he have a script that I don't have? He's telling me backstory. Yeah, where he went to school when he was 6 years old, what his mama's name was. I'm like, where did he get this thing from? And so
wow.
He stopped in the middle of conversation, dead in the middle of conversation. He wiped his mouth, he put his napkin down. I said, so you want me to be in your movie? And I paused and put my napkin down and I said, I need you to be in the movie, brother. And I said, because I need someone in front of the camera that I can trust to ground and round out this character. But more importantly, I need a brother behind the camera who will have my back and support me. And that's what he did. He gave me the reins to drive this fine-tuned vehicle, this car, this race car, this fine. He gave me the keys and entrusted me. And then he created this atmosphere on the set. And really, if people would see that he would respect me as an actor and trust me, then everyone else would as well. And so I mean, I can't tell you how much I owe to that brother.
And David, we call him on sets, and people around him and people that have worked with him before, they call him the actor's director. He has a gift to bring out certain things in actors. And whether you are, the top of your game, whether you are a comedian acting for the first time, he has a gift to do that, to bring a nuance to a performance and pull out a nuance in performances that you've never seen before. So it was beautiful to watch and see him pull some things from Mr. Forrest Whitaker that we may not have seen before.
Who's a big teddy bear.
He's a gentle giant.
You don't expect Idi Amin to start singing in a sensitive tenor voice. Yes, Idi Amin. He's singing a song.
Yes.
What the hell? But I mean, Forrest is a big teddy bear and a humanitarian, a wonderful brother.
And he was so moved himself on this set. I mean, when we shot that song, the ballad that he sings over and over, we were just rehearsing. We just did a rehearsal. And fortunately, we were recording the rehearsal. And he went into song and we all just stopped.
Yeah.
And tears were running down our face. And we were just like,
and the whole crew gave him an ovation.
yeah, we all stood up. And
whole
we
crew
used
gave him
that
an
tape.
ovation. And
We used that tape.
He's the only one in the film that sings live. And he sung over and over live. And he sung the song that he sung to Anika live. Live there. We did the original take of it we used in the film.
Really.
How do you guys feel about this film?
We are on cloud 9 because we felt like okay, we did our job. We, were moved by this film. We were touched by this film ourselves. So we always say, if something touches us, then it can touch other people. You can't touch someone else unless you've been touched. And that's how we felt about it. So for us, we were just ready to give it to the world, and we prayed that people would see and feel the things we felt.
But Veronica's Jangle is me.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, and anytime you go into business and just go through life, and you have an idea and a thought, and the years go by, and you don't bring it to life, you start doubting it, you start losing faith in it. And so he had a robot sitting up in his attic for 30 years. And I had the script sitting in the attic of my hard drive for 22 years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that it didn't ever work. It was that it was waiting for me. So the film is very personal belief and faith in yourself, and quieting the voices in your own head and the voices around you, the negative voices, the naysayers, the people that and ideas are like balloons, and they want to soar up in the sky, but there's always somebody holding on to that string, pulling you down. And so, for me, seeing this big idea take flight and soar is a very humbling thing. We had one of the things that moved me the most. There's a choir in South Africa. There's a choir in South Africa that's performing the song Square Root of Possible. And they sent us this. We didn't know it was coming. They sent us a choir in South Africa in Zulu singing the Square Root of Possible. And when I tell you that, it wasn't enough Kleenex in the house, because being able to, I prided myself in my career, and I loved it. I was thankful about being able to rock and be impactful to Atlanta and DC and Detroit and Dallas and Houston and LA, all of our inner cities, and going all down south and all up north and Chicago and all those places. That meant a lot to me, and it will always mean a lot. But as you can get older, you want to make sure you touch you're important to your core, but you want to let your message go around the world. And when I got a chance to hook up with Netflix, and I told Scott Stuber and Nick Nesbitt in the room about this idea, and they said, we need to do something about this. We need this. It's in 192 countries, Nicole. Yeah. And 32
translated
languages.
in 32 languages. Like, I watched it in Mandarin the other night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's insane. It's insane.
I mean, I said it already, and I know I'm going to say it again. I am so proud, and I'm so emotional about this film because it touched me so. And I know you guys, and I know where you started, and I know where you're going. I may not know where you're going, but I see, I see the journey. And it's just, it honestly is incredible. And I know people are just tuning in. If you're just tuning in, we are discussing the film Jingle Jangle, Christmas Journey, and these are the directors and writers and producers, David E. Talbert and Lyn Sisson-Talbert. Okay, I'm gonna pull myself together because I'm trying not to be too emotional about it, but I try.
That's all right, because I've
hard.
been a hot, emotional mess
all morning.
And I've been getting calls from people, Nicole, that I haven't heard from in a long time, and are just are thankful for the film. And it's just it's a humbling thing, and I'm taking it all in, and these ideas like this these are floating. They come to you. You're just a vessel for the idea. You're not smart enough and clever enough and creative enough, but your instrument is clean enough so that the ideas can come to you and flow through you. And this was one of those things that I'm just thankful for, being a vessel, and Lyn to put this kind of light out into the world. And very humbling, very thankful, for all the wonderful things that people have said and are continuing to say about the film.
Yeah, I mean, the time was now. It wasn't, although this has been something that you've been thinking about and it's been on your shelf for 20 years, before now wasn't the right time. The time was certainly now. I want to talk about some of this film was shot in England, correct?
In London.
In London. So what were some of the challenges shooting the film? You guys were over there for an extended period of time.
8 months. Well, I was there for 8 months. He was there a couple months before me. Well, first of all,
Lyn's biggest challenge was there was no one to do her hair over there.
That's real.
That was her biggest challenge. I told her.
It was in a permanent puff.
I told her I wanted to move over there. She said, ain't nobody moving over here. Ain't nobody here to do my hair. You can move here if you want, and Elias and I come there and visit you, but I ain't moving over here. Ain't nobody here to do my hair or my nails. And that's just black woman. That was her reason why she would not move to London.
Listen, I understand it.
That was not the reason, Nicole. No, first of all, and men don't understand this, and all my ladies out there will understand this. We are the ones that pick up the household and move to make things happen. Okay? So I'm having to find a home, a school, produce a major motion picture, make sure I create a village so that my son is taken care of. Because it don't matter if I'm on set with Forrest Whitaker. If I get that call from school, Miss Talbert, Elias forgot his lunch ticket. I gotta handle that and take care of that, and that's my priority.
That's real.
So, I gained 30 pounds on that set, because it was stressful and I was on a mission, and it was important for us to take this opportunity and make it the best it can be. So I gave up a lot to do that, and I do it 10 times over. But I think we all get to a place where at some point we're like, we gonna do this. Whatever it is, come hell or high water, we're gonna push through, we're gonna make it the best it can be, and we're gonna do it the right way and be good people as we're doing it.
It's the same thing with you, I'm sure, in the ABFF and the film festival, that, Jeff, we get a chance to be the face to go out there and do things and be the mayor and do everything. But the woman beside us is not only breathing life and elevating our career in this thing that we're doing, but they're holding the house down. That's also. Right. And it's like working double and triple work. And I honor Lyn because, she got two babies that she was taking care of there, me and Elias, and holding the house down and holding me down on set. And that's just somebody who she when I met, she was a senior. When we met, she was a senior in college, and thrust right into company managing my plays and helping to produce my plays. And she had just got out of college. She was still living with her, her roommate. Yeah. And so what she's been able to do, what you've been able to do with so many women, that people look at the man as the one, and they look at the woman sometimes, oh, they're the plus one. But there is no one without that one. We don't work. Jeff don't work.
Amen.
I'm just speaking true. And this woman has held me down. And when I didn't believe in myself, she believed in me. Yeah. And so I thank God I thank God for her.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it work, and that's what makes you guys so special. I do want to talk a little bit about the music. I know we're probably running over time, but I want to talk a little bit about the music, because John Legend was part of the original music, and the music throughout, was just fantastic. Tell me how you connected with him and his company, Get Lifted, and how they became a part of this film.
Harvey Mason Jr.
The great Harvey Mason Jr. Yeah.
Along with Julia Michaels and our music team, Amy Dunning and Netflix, came in and was like, you know what? I know who would be great and would love to be a part of this. And he said, John Legend. And Harvey called on the phone to Mike Jackson, who's at Get Lifted, John's partner. And John right away.
Who also produced the film.
Yeah, they both were producers on it. And right away, they took it, and, John said to me face to face when he came down to London, he said, I'm so grateful that my little girl will be able to see someone that looks like her. Yeah. So he instantly became a part of this. And David has a great story about the song that he wrote, Make It Work, for the film. Yeah. And then Philip Lawrence, Davey Nathan, and Michael Discant wrote the other songs for the film. Yeah. So
the first one in was the mighty Phil Lawrence, who is a force of nature. That brother's a force, who wrote all the songs for Bruno Mars. He's got 8 Grammys himself. He wrote all the songs with Bruno. He was in Bruno Mars, and then he Phil's got about 100 kids. So his wife said, if you don't get your ass off the road and you go help
shout out to Urbana,
change some diapers, and you gonna help me out, So he had to come off the road and handle his business as a husband. And but he came in and started writing. The first song in was The Square Root of Possible. Yes. And when he and Davey Nathan, who's one of the most brilliant musicians you ever want to meet, they came in and really blessed that song and all those songs, and from Miles and Miles and Magic Man G to Over and Over, Not the Only One This Day. That was the brilliance of Phil Lawrence and Davey Nathan. And we were one song that I needed short. And I had exhausted Phil. They weren't answering my call. Because every time I called, they had to write another song. And they were looking at this, nope, So I called John up and I said, I need this what we call in theater, the 11 o'clock song. And that's the song right before the end of the second act, right before when people are nodding in the theater, you need a song that'll pick them up, Wake up. And I said, Forrest Whitaker is trying to make the robot work, and Anika Noni Rose, who is, oh my God, is that a singing maniac? She's coming to get her daughter to see if they can make the relationship work with her father. And so John said, I got it, let's make it work. And we went to his piano, and he sat there and he started humming, I'm gonna make it work again. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I was blessed with the brilliance of these songwriters and the brilliance of the singers. Madeline Mills at 11 years old, who plays Journey.
She was 10 at the time.
What she does, who she is, the light that she is to the world, the brilliance that she represents to the world is just something we haven't seen ever. And
is
that's
she British?
No, she's American.
She's American.
Okay. Kieran, who plays Edison, he's British.
Okay.
And that's another thing that's always been important to us, is to break new talent. You know, it's like usually it's kind of tough in a lot of these films because they want everybody to be someone known. But it's important to us to always break new talent. And Edison, who came in, he came into the audition because he wanted to go on an audition for his birthday. That was his
first ever audition. He'd never acted before.
Never acted.
Really?
He never acted before. He asked his parents for his birthday, could he come to an audition? So I cast him on his birthday.
He got a movie for his birthday.
He got a movie for his birthday.
And he's brilliant. And their chemistry is bar none together, because they're still kids, even though they're so professional and so on point. They're children, which I love.
And Miss Johnston, Lisa Davina Phillips, she's a British stage actress, and had never done a film before. And this was her first time. And look at her. I mean, so it's, I would do these acting workshops to try to find talent and cultivate it, because there's so much talent out there. And I always look to try to give people a lane to showcase their gifts.
And to honor those, and to honor those like Felicia Rashad, who's paved the way for many of us, you know, and Forrest. So it's so great to put people like that together, so they learn lessons from each other and they teach each other, and it's just beautiful, you know. And for Madeline, even to see Anika, because she's the first Black princess. You know, so that was big for Madeline to be working with Anika Noni Rose like that. So it was such a beautiful feeling on that set.
And Anika is a diva of theater. Let me tell you something. She is a diva. I would come to give Anika a note. I would say, you know what, I'm thinking that maybe when you do that, if you do it like this, and she says, that's a thought. She says, you know, that's a thought.
That's great.
She is into her character.
Listen, you have to have professionals. That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, you talked a little bit about Forrest Whitaker and all the nuances that he brought. He had a really great line that I almost fell out the chair. He said, "Hurry back as slowly as you can."
Yes, you can. Yes, he did. As slowly as you can. That's David. That's David right there.
Well, Gene Wilder.
I'm using that one.
Yeah, Willy Wonka had all these funny isms that I loved, and so I wanted Jeronica's Jangle to have things that don't make sense, but we hurry back as slowly as you can.
That one, I swear, I almost fell out the chair. One of the other things I love that he did, and I'm sure this is your writing, talk to me about the sequence, the snowball sequence with the kids and Forrest Whitaker, and then the cop appears and wipes the snow from his face, and then he puts his hands out as if to cuff me.
Right. Well, I guess, you know, the experience that we have, contemporary experience, kind of trickled into, we know what was coming, you know what I'm saying? But that snowball scene was Lyn's kind of...
that was my baby, because I wanted a moment, just a free moment for the kids and for Jeronicus to kind of, where you see where he has that light shine again. And that song by Biza Khadi, the original song is called "The Sioux." And it was a song that I would rock in my car, like to wake up in the morning. I'd been rocking it for a long time. And when something came up, I was like, David, when we do this scene.
He's an artist from Ghana.
He's an artist from Ghana. And I'm like, David, when we do this scene, we gotta have this song in there. So we used it as our temp track. And once we started coming into post later, there was nothing that topped it. So I had our music supervisor, Julia Michaels, call him, and him and I got on a Zoom. He was in Ghana.
He was in his garage in Ghana. Zooming from his garage in Ghana, his studio in Ghana, in his garage.
And we talked, I showed him the scene, he fell in love with it, and I was like, I need you. I need to personalize this song for this film. And a lot of people were like, this doesn't fit, and you know, the songs have to have a through line. I'm like, no, they don't. We need an unapologetic moment that's just, let's go. Let's do our dance. you know, we found the little girl, Princess K, Ashley Wallen, our choreographer.
Ashley and Jen, who
Jen
killed this choreography.
Killed it, but they were open too. And I'm showing them videos. I'm like, I want this type of dance. I want this type of beat. I want to take this type of moment. And we pulled it together. And even now, like, I'm getting so many emails, and even Biza called me and was like, Lyn, thank you so much.
He's trending in Ghana.
Because they are going crazy in Ghana over that scene. And just all over the world, right in the States, everyone is saying, that scene is my favorite scene. And one woman said, Lyn, I am her. I see me in a big major motion picture and I exist. You know, she had me in tears because I'm like, for her to say I exist, she did not think she existed until she saw herself like that.
Wow.
You know, so it's so powerful, and I'm so grateful to, thank you, to bring to the world and to show the world how brilliant and beautiful that we are and how much fun you can have with us. And we don't have to have all this hate and craziness going on, because we are more alike than we are different, you know? So it's been more than we can express, and it has touched so many sides of everyone more than we can express. Our goal was, we wanted to just bring some love and light to the world, you know, especially during this time, because even with our son, you know, we have to have balance. I can't be talking about politics and COVID and all that all the time, and I still have a 7-year-old that, you know, wants to talk about some fun stuff and do some fun things. So we're all, I'm sure as parents, everyone, trying to create balance, trying not to go nuts from virtual school. So it was the perfect time, even though we may have wanted a big, you know, theatrical release and all of that, but I'm happy with how it has gone, because the timing is perfect, and it's so perfect for everyone else that needed it.
I agree 100%. So thank you. Thank you guys for this perfect film and this perfect timing. People are still asking what movie we're talking about. We're talking about Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey. It is now streaming on Netflix. You guys have to tune in. You must tune in and check this incredible work of art out, because that truly is what it is. You know, Jeff and I get asked this question all the time, and I think in many ways, you know, he is my yin to my yang, and I'm his yang to his yin, or however you say it. What would you say is absolutely necessary as a team, as partners, as husband and wife? What would you say is absolutely necessary in these projects, in these productions that you guys do together? What's necessary? Like what David, what do you need from Lyn, and Lyn, what do you need from David?
Well, what's necessary is a comfortable couch, because your ass is gonna be sleeping on it. You know, so that's the most important thing. You know, but you know, as men, we fight the feeling, and we want to buck up and rear up. That's who we are as men, and we want to fight the obvious better idea, because we might not have come up with it, and but we do that at our own you know, our own detriment, and the timing. What I learned early in the marriage is that I would resist it. My brother gave me the worst piece of advice ever. My older brother.
Was he married when he gave you the advice?
Now, he's been married 3 times. My brother gave me the worst piece of advice ever. He said, baby brother, he said, I understand, his voice is deeper than mine. He said, I understand you're about to get married, and she seems to be a really lovely lady, little brother. But I'm gonna tell you something. Now, what's the first thing you gotta do? You got to come in there, you gotta pick a conversation that you're having, and I need you to be wrong about it. You got to come up with the most wrong idea and stand on it. He says, because if you're willing to fight for something that's wrong, she won't bother you about something that's right.
He don't know. He don't know. I go to the bitter end.
So early in the relationship, I was coming up with these ridiculous, I was standing my ground on ridiculous things, trying this thing, his advice, and she was looking at me like, have you lost your mind? And so early on, you try to fight. You know, I'm 10 years older than Lyn, so I figured I'm gonna get me a young woman, I'm gonna raise her. You know what I'm saying? Make her exactly how I want her to be. And damn it, if this woman has not raised me, and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. So the thing I need the most is to get out of my own way and tap into what has been given to me, what has been gifted to me, this woman and her insight, her instincts, and let her add value to what we do together. And that was the biggest thing. And that's a struggle for a lot of men, you know, in positions of power. But, and I work with it. I'm not going to lay down now. Now, occasionally, I argue about shit that makes no sense.
With himself, because I'm not in the room
She
anymore.
may not argue, but damn it, you going to listen to me. You know? I think that for us, we just want validation. And I know the thing that I've struggled with all these years, and not, you know, just because of the perception, you know, you don't realize sometimes when you marry someone, you're looked at, and you're in the business and you're coming in doing these different things, you're looked at as the +1. And I was my own person. I was my own individual. You know, I didn't bring 50% to this. I brought 100% to the relationship. And so that was something I battled for 20 years, you know, and this time, I think just with age, you realize that, you know, no, I am my own person and I have my own ideas, and you know, you don't have, it doesn't have to be, it's always a pairing. We are a pairing, we are a team, we are a power couple, but we both bring to the table to get a result. So thankfully, David has supported me all this time, and he makes sure that I am not looked at that way. And this kind of, why this project means so much to me too, is because, you know, everyone can see that. Netflix was amazing as far as how they took care of me, and they made sure that I was validated and honored within this project. And that meant the world to me. You know, I'll never forget that. There were many things that were not precedent, and it didn't matter. It was because it was the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you spend your life trying to do the right thing, and sometimes you're punished for it, and you just have to keep doing it, because it's not about what you get, it's about what's right. And we've lived our lives like that, and it's sometimes difficult. You know, you get hurt because you put yourself out there. You get hurt, you know, because you try to handle things the right way and it's not received. So I'm just grateful that good wins. You know, good, love, and light wins against it all. And it may have taken a while, but that's what I encourage, and that's what we try to put out in the world. And I'm just hoping that people learn from that, so we can be good to each other and better and win. And she's a light that she brings to me. People like me, some tolerate me. They love Lyn. There's no, Cynthia, one of our head of publicity at Netflix, she came up to us at a screening a couple hours. She said, "Oh man, this has just been such a great experience." Now, I'm standing right now. It's been such a great experience.
I love you, Cynthia.
And everything about you, Lyn, I just love. And she turned to me, "Oh, I love you too, David. I just don't." But I said, "No, you don't. You like me, and that's okay." But that's just who she is, you know, from day one. And thank God for that.
That's true. I mean, I'd have to say the same.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You
Nicole.
like me. Everybody loves Lyn.
I just want to have a good time. I just want us all to have a good time, do some good work, and live our lives.
My best friends I've known for 40 years. They don't come in town to hang with me. When they come in town, Because they like, you ain't no fun, and you always working on something. Lyn, let's go to the club, let's go to the party. And I'm like, I've been knowing Bootsy, I've been knowing this dude and Chuck for, years, but this is who they want to hang with. And for good reason. And for good reason.
And for good reason. Listen, guys, I could talk to you forever. I really could. This has been a joy. I'm so excited to talk to you about the film. Guys, those who are listening, please turn on your televisions. Stream on Netflix, Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey. It is a phenomenal film. Watch it with your family. It's great for anyone from, I don't know, 5 years old to 100 years old.
Love you.
Yeah, so definitely check it out, watch it, talk about it, tweet about it, Instagram about it, whatever you guys do.
And Nicole, we have two companion books that go along with Jingle Jangle. The one children's book, it's called The Square Root of Possible, that I did with Penguin House Razorbill. Okay. And it's a kids for 3 to 8 picture book illustrated by an amazing illustrator, Tara Nicole Whitaker. And we have a middle grade book called The Invention of Jeronica's Jangle. We had a full circle moment there where Felicia Rashad reads the audiobook on that one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
I love that. I love her. I love that.
Here it is right here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, that is amazing.
And it's available. It's
for pre-order now.
Yeah, collector's item, first edition, but yeah, Square Root of Possible, showing some beautiful illustration and magic and wonder that
And anyone that orders one, you hold onto your receipt, you can upload it, and you'll get the song for free. Square Root of Possible for free.
Wonderful. You guys better go ahead and pre-order your books now. That's amazing. Get your books. Congratulations. Get your books. See the movie. I love, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I do love the full circle moment at the end with Felicia Rashad. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
She's amazing.
Great. You guys, amazing seeing you. Wonderful. Love you. I hope that, we can see each other sooner than later.
We have to do a Zoom celebration.
We have to do a Zoom celebration. And we might be talking about this again. If you guys, if it's going to the stage, listen, we'll be talking about
anytime.
We love it. And we're proud of what you and your husband and Jeff have done with that festival and how many doors you've opened for people and how many voices that you've given and the people, your tree of people that have come through that festival and that are now doing amazing things. So thank you for being a light and a conduit to so many people's careers.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Kids and Jeff.
Okay. Bye. Bye.